contractors to assure that every Liberian in Montserrado County is within a 15-minute walking distance of a basic water access point. Our team, working alongside the relevant agencies of the Liberian government, has completed a county-wide assessment to determine the extent of the need for basic water service in Montserrado. With our assessment complete, we've determined that the number of projects needed to meet our goal for basic access for all is clear. Our assessments revealed that the vast majority, and all of us are aware of this, the vast majority of the need lies in the rural areas, the most difficult to reach areas of Montserrado County. And I'm happy to announce this today. The last well and all of its donors will provide 108 new hand pumps, perform major rehabilitations on 69 existing wells within the county, and we will install 8,117 Sawyer Point 1 clean water systems in homes across Montserrado County. This intervention will provide basic water access to more than 170,000 Liberians, nearly half of those being children under the age of 15. Everyone in this room, everyone in Liberia knows that water is life. And because of this initiative, because of all of us coming together, the government of Liberia, the people and donors of the U.S. and around the world, today life is coming to the people of Montserrado.
Also speaking at the occasion was Montserrado County Senator Sir Joseph, who challenged the organization to remain as a good partner to Liberia.
Some of those workers are not clean. As the Vice Commissioner already said, there are other organizations who have been in Liberia, and to note, the last well have been in Liberia 10 years in the last administration. That Montserrado County, we still have Montserrado County communities not having safe drinking water. It's unbelievable. If last well ready for business to move Montserrado County forward in terms of safe drinking water, 128 wells is not sufficient. Montserrado County has the highest population. Niba County has 400 wells that last well will be doing, while Montserrado County will be given 128 wells. Then Niba County got 400 and plus wells. Dr. Philip and members of last well, I want to take this time to say to you, this project is not just about rural Montserrado County. We will first say thank you for thinking about us. We received the 128. We also received the 80,000 sister bucket. We still have more to go.
Liberia's ambassador to the United Nations is calling for adequate funding support in building social protection capacity for children affected by conflicts globally. The call by Ambassador D. Maswa Kimia for government, regional and sub-regional organizations will rehabilitate and reintegrate children, thereby making them impactful to society.
We take note of the Secretary General's report and its findings. The uncomfortable truth remains that the scale and severity of the violations being committed against children continue to be unabated in several regions of the world, with wanton disregard for international law as well as international norms. It is also regrettable that the abduction, killing, and maiming of children have reached a record level globally, as well as attacks on schools, hospitals, and the denial of humanitarian access to children, while the future of millions of children living in countries affected by armed conflict remains at risk. This situation deserves utmost attention. As we observe the 10th anniversary of Security Council Resolution 1882, we call on the Council to reinforce its provision that all parties to armed conflicts adhere to the obligations applicable to them under international law. There is a dire need to address the gap in funding for the rehabilitation and reintegration of children affected by armed conflicts, especially child soldiers. Adequate funding will support governments, regional and sub-regional organizations in building child and social protection capacity and to formulate prevention strategies. We therefore urge that priority be placed on addressing the root causes of conflict to ensure prevention.
Back down to Executive Mansion, President George Weah said he will not hesitate to dismiss anyone who attempts to undermine the gains made so far by his government. Speaking at the dedication of the Owo Chuba Market on Wednesday, President Weah said his administration is open to diverse ideas from every Liberian that will help shift the paradigm of the state. He meanwhile called on his supporters to always preach unity and avoid participating in protests that have the ability to undermine the peace of the country.
I see people that turn their children to the streets. They are protesting every day, so you can't do what you have to do. You will not join these people. Liberia, we have to sustain the peace. It's the only way we can develop this country. Yes, we have our fellow citizens in the streets. We want to help them. But we cannot help them when you are distracting the state. Every Liberian has the right to work for us. And this is why I see today, when people tell me, those people are in power, most of them working with you. They are Liberian, fellow citizens. What you are thinking about talking, preach unity, not division. Those that were in government before, that want to work to help us move our agenda sincerely, those people will always be welcome. But those that believe that whatever you do, they want to sabotage the Liberian people goal for development, I can guarantee you, those people will be weed out.
The Liberian government has expressed dismay over the conduct of some Liberian students studying in Morocco. The over 80 students recently staged a protest at the Liberian embassy in Rabat, Morocco, in demand of arrears owed them by the Liberian government. But Education Minister Professor Ansu Soni said 32 of the 86 students have overstayed in Morocco, noting that government is still settling their arrears. He spoke during the Ministry of Information regular Thursday press briefing on Capitol Hill.
We have students, of course, studying in Morocco, 86 of them to date. Of the 86, there are 23 of them, plus 9, that's 32, who have overstayed their tenures. And I'm going to tell you the tenure for each study period, so that we compare those tenures to the actual period that each of them has spent. And then you will be the judge. And for the entire period of the extension, though not approved, the government notwithstanding still provided allowances for the students. The 54 students are the freshmen who went to Morocco last year. They include 7 of our students who did the best on the WASS examination. And because these students were much younger folks, 16, 17, there were 3 that were 16 and the other 17, 18 there. We were proactive and decided that we would rent a space for all 54 so that we don't give them the money and we spent it, and many of them being much smaller who have a problem. So we rented a space for all 54 of them. I was surprised to find out for someone to tell me that these children were out in the streets. I really want to know that. And if that is not true, then somebody is not a patriot, or somebody has a problem with his own country.
The Education Minister also used the occasion to provide statistics on finances given to the students by both the Moroccan and Liberian government monthly.
The students in Morocco receive 75 United States dollars from the Moroccan government every 2 months. $150 every 2 months is $75 a month. They stagger it in a way that they give it to them every 2 months, 6 times a year. Whether you are on vacation or not, it makes no difference. That is a couple with the supplemental allowance that we provide them make their living. These 54 students were not paying rent, they are in the appropriate places of abode. So even in the absence of what we did not send them, they were still receiving $150 in Moroccan government. For them to be hungry and out in the street, I really want to know why and how. The other students who have stayed in Morocco before the 54 students went. When we took over as Minister of Education and when this government was in June, there were already 2 quarters outstanding from the past government that were not paid. And the allowances that all students abroad were receiving, the bilateral program was $75 a month. 75. In 2017, thereabouts, 2017, before we became minister, that amount was increased from 75 to $450 per graduate student in Morocco, to $400 per undergraduate student in Zimbabwe. From 75 to 450, we didn't think anyone who understood the fiscal space in this country would have done that.
And away from Liberia, 3 Congolese doctors have been arrested in the Democratic Republic of Congo over the killing of a World Health Organization medic. A military prosecutor has told the BBC. Cameroonian Dr. Richard Mungoso was shot dead in April at the hospital while treating Ebola patient. Motive of the attack is unclear. More than 1,800 people have so far been killed by the Ebola virus over the past years. Well, on that foreign development, that's how we go home on today's edition of KMTV News Today. But before we go, a recap of our headlines. The government of Liberia expresses dismay over the conduct of some Liberian students studying in Morocco, said that the 2 of them have overstayed. President George Weah launches International Christian Organization Laswell Water for All project in Bentor, recommits his government to providing social services for Liberian people. We'd like to say many thanks to you for always joining our news broadcast from across the globe. On behalf of the entire team here, my name is Anthony Kukwe. You can also visit our website at www.kmtvliberia.com for more news and information. Until then, good night.